Before I made an emotional response to the official news of Kylian Mbappé going to Real Madrid and explain my gut feeling that I think it's a horrible mistake for his career, I thought it was important to digest the information and put my journalism cap on to make an objective video. So now that I've slept on it, objectively, I think it's probably the worst decision Kylian Mbappe's ever made for his career. And it has nothing to do with me hating on Real Madrid. The other French players there, I love and support, and I'm happy for them. So why do I think this is a horrible idea for Kylian Mbappé? Well, just to back up and give a little bit of historical context, PSG has never won the Champions League. And for those who think it's because there's no talent, it couldn't be farther from the truth. The truth is that Ligue 1 always had less money than these other leagues, and there's extremely high taxes in France. So putting together rosters that could compete with big money Premier League and some of the other leagues has always been a little bit challenging. But everybody knows if all the French players had to play in their domestic league, they would have won some Champions Leagues. But besides the point. If you've been following me for a little while, I wrote an article for Get French Football News when he was supposed to leave, when everyone thought he was going to leave to Real Madrid, and I was probably the only person that said that he wasn't going to. Because the Kylian Mbappé that I knew, and having the father that he has, I was fairly confident that he understood that he couldn't leave PSG without completing that mission of winning a Champions League, especially to a club that wins the Champions League every other year at this point. Now that he's actually going to Real Madrid, it's actually much worse than if he would have left before. Why? Because Real Madrid has already rebuilt the core of their team, and Mbappe wasn't in that process. And they've already proven themselves to be a Champions League contender again with this new core group, which didn't include Kylian Mbappe. On top of that, the likelihood of them continuing their dominance in the Champions League is almost impossible. Not because Real Madrid aren't good, just statistically speaking, it doesn't happen. I heard an analogy when someone compared it to being a general manager of a grocery store or any kind of store. The guy who's going to the brand new store that's bright and pretty and new and has a lot of customers coming because it's new, it's hard for him to make any leeway as a manager. What did he do there to make that store any better? It's already new, it's already beautiful. But the guy who goes to or starts at a store that's dirty, doesn't have a lot of sales, well, this guy actually has a lot more opportunity to make a name for himself. He cleans up the store and a few more people start coming in because he made a couple changes. It creates a stark contrast to what the store was. But on the other hand, the guy that was at the brand new store, after the excitement of having a new store in the neighborhood dies down and the sales start to go down and there wasn't much else for you to do, make any real changes at the store because you couldn't, you might actually be blamed for the sales going down when that was just inevitable. In America, with American basketball, we've already seen this. When Kevin Durant went to Golden State, yeah, he won a championship. He wasn't credited for winning that championship. Even the ownership after the first championship said, hey, welcome to the bandwagon, getting on the winning train, alluding to that they were going to win that anyway. Even if that's not true, because perception is reality. No matter what Kylian Mbappé does at Real Madrid, critics will say, we were winning Champions Leagues anyway. The critics will say, we had a great team anyway. And for whatever reason, they don't win. For whatever reason, they don't win the league. For whatever reason, they don't win Champions League. Anybody that knows the Spanish media knows they will bury him quickly. It will take Mbappé doing extraordinary things in Spain, winning the treble, winning the Golden Boot. It will be nearly impossible for Kylian Mbappé to win a Ballon d'Or if he is anything less than exceptional and brilliant by every metric and leads his team in every metric. If Kylian Mbappé would have won a Champions League trophy for PSG, that one Champions League would have meant more than winning 3 Champions League trophies with this Real Madrid team. And I'm not saying that he should have stayed with PSG. If he felt like it was time to go to expand, that's fine. But you don't go to Real Madrid. You don't go to the team that wins every year if you're Kylian Mbappe. Because now instead of it being Haaland at Man City, Bellingham at Real Madrid, and Mbappe at PSG, he's in danger of becoming a Robin instead of a Batman. And that could absolutely just be perception, but perception is reality. I would have had a lot more respect for Mbappe if he went to Arsenal, followed in the footsteps of Thierry Henry, and took a team that hasn't won the Premier League in a few years, and to make your own mark. He can never make his own mark at Real Madrid. It was almost impossible. For someone who fell in love with soccer because of Les Bleus, the French national team, and as someone who's seen Kylian Mbappe, I've been writing about French soccer for over 10 years. I followed French soccer for a long time. I seen Mbappe as a teenager at Monaco. I heard rumblings of him coming, and I got to watch him go from that kid from Bondi to the biggest player in the world. So to see him make a move that could unravel his career, and unravel might sound a little bit dramatic, might sound dramatic to you or to someone else, but when we're talking about what makes somebody go from a really great player that had a good career to that special room, that table that only has those few players, when we're talking about Messi, Ronaldo, Zidane, Maradona, the real top of the top players, like those one move can stop you from getting into that room. And unfortunately, I think this might be that one move that stops him from getting into that room. When he spoke about their dealings with PSG, of course PSG were mad. They paid you a ton of money. They gave you everything you wanted. And to leave on a free transfer, when you hear their side of the story, it doesn't come across well. However, I don't care about that. The part I did cared about is that when he spoke about it and he said that, without the coach, Luis Enrique and Luis Campo, that he wouldn't have been playing, and that he settled for just playing, and next year he won't settle for just playing. And so when I really thought about that, I'm like, that's not the Kylian Mbappe that I know. The Kylian Mbappe that I know that made that halftime speech in the World Cup and went on to make the best World Cup performance I've ever seen in my life. It was literally, I'm talking about, a Pele type, performance in a World Cup. That Mbappe would have never said, yeah, I was just settling for playing, when he had a chance to bring a Champions League trophy to his hometown. And when I was watching him in the last, game or so in Champions League, I didn't feel like that was the Mbappe that I know. So now hearing him say like, "Oh, I was just settling for playing," it's frustrating, and it's not the Mbappe that I love and still hope that he will, somehow do the impossible at Real Madrid, um, and with Les Bleus. So my hope is with Mbappe, but objectively, I believe this was a huge mistake, and I believe this is a mistake that will cost him his place amongst uh, the goats. So I wish you good luck, Mbappe, and I hope that one day I will get to say I was wrong, but I wasn't wrong last time, and I don't think I'm wrong this time.